Now, why would we want to use a function in any SQL statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is because is key you want. Okay, so first of all, where are the in some piece of code, where are the this functions placed, right? So there is
Okay.
this C
Sorry to interrupt. Are you
uh,
sharing the screen?
yes, let me see if I did. No, I haven't yet. I started the recording. So yes, and then yes. Okay, so the screen should be
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
popping up, है ना?
Mm.
So SQL functions, right? Functions. Now, first of all, where to mention these functions, ठीक है? So it will be mentioned between uh, this section. Okay, so this section where you will list all your column names, right? Between
Mm-hmm.
the select keyword and the from keyword. A bit column names, if you just mention the column names, right, without any functions, just like how we took an example in our last discussion, right? So what will happen is the display would be as it is stored in the database. So if something is stored as 1 for yes and 2 for no or 0 for no, then it will show you 1 and 0 because it is how it is stored in the database. ठीक है? But
Mm.
then what happens is quite often because we are tending to a certain business group of people, they are not very technical. So we need to, wherever there is even a slightest bit of technical thing is mentioned in any database, we have to see to it this information should make sense to them. For example, if there is a seriousness column which is exported, okay,
Mm.
and that seriousness column has a 0 1 value, okay. Now, you being a technical person, you being having the familiarity with the database and how things are stored and what do they mean and all that, you might be able to understand that one is yes, zero is no. But the business person will not be able to understand. He or she is not supposed to understand as well. Okay. So to fix this kind of gap between the technical people and the functional people, what we do is we just not only mention the column name just like this, right? This is one column name. So we do not mention it like this. जैसे कि अगर seriousness की बात करें, C dot seriousness. अब this will be displayed as 0 or 1. ठीक है. Now, if we want to display it as something else, we'll have to put it across a function because that function will transform the value. So, SQL functions are basically used to transform the values which are there in the database in this way or that way. So there are different functions which uh, have different pieces of code which helps the results to be transformed in a certain manner whichever you want. Okay. तो जैसे कि अभी I have written this example. तो इसमें what is the function? The function is anything which is written before these set of parentheses. ठीक है.
Okay. Mm.
And a function will always not always but most of the time what will happen is this bracket, right,
Mm.
this will not be empty. For a few functions it could be empty, but majority of the functions there will be something present here in between the brackets. Okay. So
Okay.
what we mention in between the brackets is the parameter, right? For example, you want a certain somebody to do a certain thing. Okay. So, and you're not doing it, you want him to do it. Okay. then that person would ask you for the necessary things or tools that he would need. So that necessary thing of tool bit is same as that of the parameter. Okay. So
mm,
for a function to work as per the expectation, it has a certain syntax, and in that syntax there are a certain number of parameters. Each parameter is separated by the other one by a comma, right? So how many parameters we have here is one, two, three, four, five, and sixth one as well. Now, not all of these parameters are mandatory. Some of the parameters are optional. So if you want to put it, put it. If you don't want to put it, that's fine. Uh, so this is basically key. What is function? What is the use of the function? And where in the code and in what kind of scenario we want to use those functions. Okay. Now, there are different types of functions, and by different types of functions, what I mean is they are classified based on either the function that they perform, say for example, count or sum or average. So, they are performing different functions, right? And if we look at one example, here it says for count, for example, here it says counts the number of rows in a specified column or table. Okay. So if you read it deeply, what is it here? You read it deeply, then you understand that this count function has a parameter, and that parameter is a specified column or a table. So one parameter is there. So this way, you can also understand ki would this need a parameter or not, and if yes, how many, and what kind of parameters, right? For example, if there is a sum function, the only parameters that you will give are the number columns, right? Because the function is sum, and sum happens between numbers. So this kind of logical understanding is needed for these aggregate functions. Aggregate functions का मतलब है कि they'll aggregate a value of from a particular column or a table and show that value in a single cell of an Excel sheet, if we can consider Excel sheet as a row column thing, right?
mm, mm, mm,
Count is a aggregate, and just like that, all others as well. Now, if you are aggregating something, right,
mm,
then
mm,
you also need to group it. So when we write this function, say count cm dot case id, then at the end of the SQL, we also need to mention group by cm dot case id, or else how will the system know, right? So these kind of things are there. Then basically there are functions which are different because of their uh, data type that they work with. So if there are date functions, understandably, so one second, I'm getting a call.
mm,
हेलो, नीचे बस ये क्लास निपटा लूं फिर आता हूँ. या सॉरी अबाउट दैट. या तो वेयर वर वी? तो या so functions are used when we want to modify the display pattern of any column, and this modification is done based on the requirement. ठीक है, तो classic example is कि somebody as an auditor comes and they want the data in the way that they want it. So you being an outside person, you don't get to decide ki how the data will be presented to him. This thing he gets to decide, and you have to form your SQL code in a way that these things are taken care of. So here you need to have a look into the template. In template, what they'll do is एक्सेल शीट इन टेम्पलेट का मतलब ये है कि हाउ इट इज received in the day to day work is कि there will be two sections. One
Mm,
section will mainly talk about one section will mainly talk about the filter criteria. Okay. So the filter criteria will have 3 4 points. पहली चीज date range, दूसरी चीज the date type. Is it the initial receipt date or aware date or significant follow up or whatever? Okay. Then there will be a set of products for which they want to look at the case. Then there will be maybe what. Then there will be maybe event assessments. Okay.
mm,
So uh, and if they want some country specific data as well. So these 3 4 kinds of filters are there. Okay. Now this section is talking about everything which will go between the from and the sorry, which will go after the where clause. Okay. That these things are basically filter criteria, right? So by this you would be able to identify the field. Then you would be able to identify the table in which that field is, and then you will able to identify other tables for these fields, and then you will be able to join all the tables in a optimized way. ठीक है. अब and that is the filtering part. उसके बाद join के बाद then you would want to put the date range value. So and this table name dot this column name, which is the date range column, between this date and this date. This other column which talks about the date type, say for example a significant follow-up and a non-significant follow-up. So follow-up date will be there in the same table, which is case follow-up. However, because the auditor is interested in this significant follow-up, for example. So after passing the date range that is between this and this, you'll have to put an and condition and also mention there is another column by the name significant. So significant has to be one, which means yes. So and then from another table you are getting the product's name and the product type of them being the suspect product. So these things will be, say for example, let me write it down. So this will be case master for initial receipt date, and दूसरा is case follow up for uh, follow up received date. ठीक है. Then date type, it could be significant follow up or non-significant follow-up. ठीक है. Other than other kinds of dates are also there, जैसे कि onset date when the event started, or aware date, or some other date. So if that is the case, then we need to look for the specific column wherein whichever date they are asking, that date is there, so as we can put it on the filter. Products may, of course, the product name and यहाँ पे भी the thing is in case follow up only for significant and non-significant. So case follow up. यहाँ पे the table will be for product name and every such detail. The table will be case product name, and then if it's a suspect or a concomitant, it will be the field drug type. ठीक है. Then event assessment, here, you'll have to assess case event assess table, ठीक है, and look for. columns, columns, DET causality ID, and then likewise RPT causality ID, and likewise listedness, and all these kind of assessment related information that will be there in this case event SS table. And country में base table is LM countries, and whatever LM country, and whatever country field they are talking about. So a country can be a country of incidence, a country can be country of the patient, country can be country where the event occurred, a country can be country where the product is authorized to be sold. So there are different countries, and their values will be stored in the corresponding table. Okay. Now the question is कि यार you are new in the database. You have not really seen the database, and you have to work on something like this. And for that you need to look up for the columns and the tables and whatnot. Consider myself having substantial information in familiarity with this Argus database. Um, Even I am not aware of all the tables, so it's not how it's supposed to happen. And you can rely on certain commands which you can execute in the database, which will give you the list of tables and columns. So from out of 200 tables, you might get say five, and then you can look into those tables which will have the relation that you need. Okay. For example, uh, I do not know ki, uh, from where I can get the product details, right?
Mhm.
So how would I start to approach this thing? Or any such thing for that matter. Let's take products in our example. Okay. So the first thing, which is this is a common SQL statement which executes in any database. Okay, as long as it's an Oracle database, it will execute like this. And what is the SQL is? Select star from all tables. Okay, so there is a table which goes by the name all tables, and it has so many columns with it. Right now, I am interested in key where
Product.
I have yes, I have a column name. I'm not sure what is the exact column name, but I have a fair idea. So what I'll do is this table name is all tables, and the column name which I'm more interested is in the name is column name itself, right? And now that I do not know the exact thing, so I'll use the like operator here. And when I use the like operator, I put my value which I want to find in a set of these percentage signs.
Okay.
परसेंटेज साइंस का क्या मतलब होता है कि wherever there is the percentage sign on that side of the string, wild card rule would follow. ठीक है, so for example if I write this, okay, percentage is in the left side, so what kind of results will appear is the right side should have, or it should end with this keyword product in the left, in the beginning, whatever it is. Okay.
Mhm.
If I change it a little bit, I put it on the right side, right? So it will
Means it
be,
will start with the product.
it will be reversed. Okay. There is another variation key. I am putting it on the both sides. So
Mm.
what will happen?
All
Anything,
values.
anything which has this set of string in the column name, those results would follow up. ठीक है. अब one more thing to really pay attention to is कि remember during our initial classes we talked about modules working in sync with each other, and those modules are having different schemas. So when you say all tables, it there is no mention ki if this query has to fetch all the records or from a particular schema or from all the schemas, and things like that. So you'll also have to add an and condition, and here the column name is owner, and you need to put the schema name. For Argus, it is for Argus case data, which is all this case form fields. The owner is or the schema is Argus app. Okay. So if you execute this, then the system will give you all the tables which have a column which contains this product string from the schema Argus app, which is usually the case data storing schema. Okay. So before you had 200 tables, and now maybe you have 10. Okay. And the result would be some ID, then owner, which is the column name for schema, then this will be the table name. So here you get the table name, the exact one, and here you get the column name, and there are some other types like data type and all. So that is not of our concern. But what you are really looking for is these two things. So which is the table and what is the column from with which I can join. Yeah, further to the right, there is another column which talks about the primary key. I'm not exactly remembering the column name, but basically that the information is that in this column, say for example, primary key will tell you key, for example, if there are 8 columns in one table, right? So there will be 8 records for one table having different column names. And in the primary key, for the column which is the primary key of that table name, which could be used for joining purposes, this value would be 1, which is a yes, and 0 for others. So you understand key, okay, this is the primary key with this table. Now you get the primary key. Okay. Now you are more interested in key, yaar, what all tables I can find this primary key in, right? So what you do is ki you just update your query a little bit, and you put the column name which is the primary key column name here. Let me just copy it and then paste it here, and then so you remove the like operator because now you know the exact column name, and say for example the primary key that we are looking for is product ID. Okay. So what will be the results for this statement in your understanding, of course?
Select from all tables where column name product ID.
Hmm.
Okay. Or the wherever that the tables containing the product ID, that will be.
Hmm. Yeah. So basically, you will get a list of all the tables wherein this product ID column is there, right?
Mm.
Then from those tables, you will be able to figure out key out of number of those tables, which one are important to you. Okay.
Mm.
This way, we figure out the database. With experience, we kind of it's speed it. Here, this table is linked with this one like this and all that. But until that state, these SQL statements are really helpful. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So this was one important thing. There is another table which is very important in this Oracle Argus safety databases. CMN fields. Okay. I'll write the statement where, and here the
I,
column is,
I have one doubt here. So,
yeah.
if we have that directly, we are applying these things in the Argus
Hmm.
screen itself. Whether it will be easy to understand, right, or how it will be like without Argus screen,
Hmm.
or is more like the learning purpose. It will be more usable, or inside the Argus screen.
Okay. So basically, examples are from Argus. Okay.
Okay.
So exact application, as is copy paste. This copy paste application could be done in Argus. However, the concept that we are talking about, or the
mm,
general things that we are talking about, for example, this all tables and all those things, right?
mm, mm, mm.
So these will be there with all the Oracle database. Doesn't matter what application it is. The table names will be different, the column names will be different.
No, we are more oriented to the that PV database, that Argus, right? So why I'm asking that we had earlier session with that console things in the
Ah,
Argus things,
okay, okay.
the code list and
Uh-huh,
the
uh-huh.
managed products, and
I
that time
understand.
he showed with the Argus screen itself, and
Uh-huh,
there
okay.
we applied some coding also. In the end of the session we applied some coding, and we find that how that that's R2 documents are patching, and those things and all we checked in the Argus
Uh-huh.
app, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
And the SQL developer, these things and all, while he shared the screen, he showed. So
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of asking you whether you have the access for those things or not.
No, I don't have access to those things.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I will also check with Kiran once whether it is
Hmm.
possible.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I think
please.
they are using the credential with that RISE training only. So I think if you have the database installed in the system, I think it is possible to log in and do. I will check with, and you also check with Kiran once,
Okay, I will do
because
that.
we are pulling that data and all here, and
It
if we
would have
directly,
been better if there would have been a visual result. I understand.
yeah, if we directly enter the query, then we will
Uh,
easily visible
uh,
to that data how it is pulling and
yes,
everything, right?
yes, yes, yes. Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. We talked about this thing in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned कि यार we need to have this kind of a thing with us, and we were not able to follow up on that. So it would be great if you can ask him, है ना?
Mm-hmm.
And if we get it, then yeah, I mean we'll be in a better position to understand what is happening. ठीक है?
Mm-hmm.
At least there will be a visual picture, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it's just introduction. So in the later part, we are going into the Argus app, that screen page and all like that. I thought.
See, the thing is now, what happens is these Argus and all these applications, these are licensed applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
even if I set up an instance in my local machine,
Ah.
create a database, create a few tables, put some data in those tables, run some queries around
Mm-hmm.
those tables will not be Argus tables. ठीक है?
Mm-hmm.
So again, the same thing. The concept would be understandable, but the exact table names and column names and how things are happening in the Argus side of things, that would not be possible. If if this setup is provided by somebody else, hopefully we'll get an Argus database. So when we hit select star from case master, yes, there is a table case master and it has whatever data. है ना? With
Mm-hmm.
with an instance that I can set up in my personal machine, that case master would not exist, right? तो इसीलिए I was a little bit reluctant in setting up an instance at my machine itself, because it will not serve the purpose. That was my idea. If this can be provided, it would certainly help us. And for that, yeah, I'll also reach out to Kiran, and whenever you have some time, just mention it, like it would have been better if you could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
this. So yes, very valid point. Uh, and let's see how it goes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing further, yeah, just like there is this statement which gives us all the tables and the columns in a given schema, or all the schemas depending on filter, right? There is another table which goes by a different names, and you can see that the prefix here is CMN. CMN, what does it mean? CMN in Argus things. We've seen case, we've seen LM, now there is this CMN. CMN का मतलब है common. So any CMN underscore table is a common table for whatever it is supposed to store. One example is CMN fields. So looking at the table name, I can get an idea कि okay, this table will have all the field names and all the database table names and column names which they are mapped to. So on the front end, they have a field name which is say seriousness, but on the back end, where is it stored? Right? You want to know that because you want to use that in your queries. And I mean, you don't know that, I'm assuming. Kyuki, it could be anything, right? Maybe the requirement is new and whatnot. So at times what will happen is ki you will have all the details from a functional standpoint. The client will show you the fields and give you a sample case and explain you the pattern and all. And then your part of the work is to link it to the technical side and then do something on the technical side so as this requirement could be fulfilled. There you'll have to know the mapping. If this is looking like this in the front end, how is it looking like at the back end? And it would be looking like in the back end, it would be looking like a column in a table. Now there are so many tables and so many columns, but you want to know the column in that table which corresponds to a certain field in the front end, right? And for that certain field, CMN fields, for that certain field, what you know is you know the field name because you can see it in the case form, right? Just give me another minute. Sorry, as I said, today is a little bit different kind of a thing. Uh, so, okay, fine. So yes, CMN fields. Now you know the field label, right? And that field label is, for example, country of incidence. Okay. Here the situation is somebody told you to fetch the values which are there in the country of incidence field in the case, and you don't know what is the mapping. You just know the field name, and that also the client has told you. So now you need to proceed further. So how will you do that? Is you access this table, you get this kind of a result. Field ID, some ID, then field label, right? Then unique field label and so many other columns in the middle. And then at the end, there will be this table underscore name and there will be this column underscore name as well. So in your SQL statement where you are mentioning star, you can just mention whatever columns that you want to be displayed. So for example, if you want to display only this field label, table name, and column name, just replace this by the exact column names. Field label, label, table name, column name. Okay. So as far as the assistance with the joining of the tables and finding of the fields to put relevant filters on, these things are important, and to put the data as uh, per the requested display as per the requested template. What will be the template is they will put it something like this. Say for example they want 6 7 columns in their report, so what they'll do is uh, they'll draw something like this, and then here is the first column name. Okay, and here is the second column name as how they want it. So you have to keep the column names like this only. Then third, and then date, and then event, and then seriousness, and then listedness. Okay. So they'll also provide some dummy values here. So it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and the same value will be here, same value will be here, and correspondingly same value will be here as well, because one case will have one country of incidence. Now here the dates could be different. This is the initial receipt date. This is the follow up one, right? Follow up two. At times they would ask you ki just display the date and display this string as well. The follow up should be mentioned, and then there should be a bracket like this, and then a number, whatever number it should be there. Then event. So a case will have it can have one event or multiple events. So if they want all the events in one column, then we'll have to use another function, which is called a list aggregate function. Just look into that in your free time. It's a very useful function in this audit kind of things. So each event will have its seriousness. Again, if you want to aggregate all the seriousness of all the events in one column, then you can put the list aggregate, and just like that for listedness as well. So they will put dummy values, right? So as you understand what level of listing they are requesting. Are they requesting a case level listing? So one row is one case, or they are requesting, the initial or follow up level listing, or they are or they are requesting the event level listing. So whatever level of display they want, you will get it in a dummy value, in a template showing dummy value. So if in your database, if it is stored as 01 and in the template it is mentioned yes no, so the idea is you have to display it like how it is displayed in the template, right? And to achieve these kind of cosmetic updates in the export, uh, we use basically the various functions that are there, and depending on what type of value that column stores, that could be a date function or a string function or a number function, math function. So important functions are mainly, if you look at here, aggregate functions are a group of important functions, and also some of the date functions also are important functions, which basically would return the current date or execution date or something like that. You don't want to hard code it. String functions are necessary when you want to transform some string value. So you want to join two strings together, which are maybe currently in two different columns. You want to put it in one column only, or you want to find a piece of string from an already existing value. So, for example, if the database value, the column value is this is a horse, and you want to see if there is a in how many records the word with a space before and space after is present, then what you are trying to look at is a part of the string which is already there. So to do that, substring function is used. Length means length of the string. So you want to trim the string after a particular length. So you can mention the length, and you can use this trim function as well to make the needed adjustment. All these functions are operational only in the this string type of data, right? Then math functions are not that much important. Math की जगह aggregate takes the place, and yes, there are some really important functions, which is a rank function, a dense rank function, these functions. These kind of functions are इनने ranking function बोल दिया है, but they are also referred to as window functions, right? So window functions का मतलब why they are called window functions is कि in this table, if you want to do some assessment, right, make a join or put an equality or put a filter or whatever, then it might happen that you have to either do it in all the data in the whole table, or it might happen that you want to focus on no, focus on not all the rows but a few rows. Say for example, all the rows with a certain case number, and you want to subtract the date or do something like that. So the requirement is such that at one time you will have to ask the system to operate on a subset of the data and not the whole data. So to achieve these kinds of, or to convey these kinds of requests to the database, we use something which is called as window functions. And why is because they are able to make a window of a certain number of rows and columns, and they operate only in that window. So these functions, these window functions, are the most complex, or the maximum that it could be done from the database. So let me show you the window functions as well. Yeah, these are the you know, so rank, dense rank, then row number, and I think there were another few as well. Yeah, and just to show you how it works is, so yes, this is some function, some. This is how the aggregate function works, right? It take the same value with each of the rows, and then it concatenate it and put in one column or one row. And this is how a window function works. It will look at each row, do whatever it is done, and put the modified value in the same row. So as maybe it can be used for certain other uh, uh, calculation. ठीक है. So yes, window functions such as these, uh, they'll have an expression. Expression means what is the name of the column which you want the window function to operate in. Then there will be this over clause. So it's a keyword which is used in the syntax of window functions, and they are used to do three things, mainly two things. So as I was saying, you want the system to operate on a set of records, not the all of the records. So you do this by using the partition by clause, so that the system knows कि okay, there is all this data, but I'll have to create a virtual partition based on case IDs or based on events or whatever. And then once that partition is created, then you need to give an order to it. You want it to display in the, or you want the calculation to happen from increasing to decreasing order, or from decreasing to increasing order. So these two things are important. How the partition by clause is written is, just enter add these keyword partition by, and when expression 1 expression 2 means all these are column names, and
Mhm.
order by goes the same as well. Expression matlab column names, you can mention ascending or you can mention descending. This is separator. So either this or this, or null first or null last. So you don't want to see the null values at the top or the bottom. Normally, these things are good enough, provided your filters are correct. Agar filters are not correct, then there will be certain null values, and you'll have to deal with them. Of course, getting the client in the confidence. Okay.
Hmm.
Then yes, there is this range concept as well, but it's not used very much explicitly because the function is served by these two things itself. So, as per the practice, I have not seen this particular clause used very much for all the purposes, work-related purposes. These two clauses should do the trick. Okay, I'm just looking for an example. And two other important window functions are this lag and lead. Uh, okay. So basically, four window functions are important. One is the rank, second is the dense rank, third is the lag, fourth is the lead. The function is window function. So basically, it will help you do different kind of operations in a partition of the table. Okay. To uh, kindly go through these functions, different types of functions. That is, all these aggregate functions, then date functions, then string functions, and then the rank functions, right?
Hmm.
Yes. Uh, so and the here the idea is key, and you can get it in W3 schools or something like that. Here the idea is key you should have an idea of at least 5 6 functions from each category. So 5 6 number functions, 5 6 string functions, the important this window functions, and all that. So as if they are talking about it in an interview or in a discussion where you are around, you should be able to relate what they are talking about, because during in these kind of circles, um, they are always digging for a certain solution. So at times the communication could be a little more technical, and awareness of these keywords and these kind of functions helps you in understanding and contributing to that sort of discussion. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So let's wrap the session for today. As
Okay.
I have, as I told, there are certain other things which needs to be taken care of.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
Kindly go through the functions uh, uh, and come up with any questions that you might have in our session, which will be tomorrow. Uh, I'll try to see if there is anything which is remaining in the functions bit, and then we'll start with the the loops which we
Okay.
which we'll be using in all those PL SQL database objects. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Also, if I get the time, I'll check on this instance wala bit. If not, I'll ask you ki put one query to him. है ना? See
Okay.
what he comes up with. Okay.
Hmm. 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 Yeah.
Okay, Mohan. Then yeah,
Yeah.
it was not much uh, 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 solid session for today.
Hmm.
A light one, and I hope I can make it up in the next time we meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Thanks.
Or
Thanks.
no problems, Mohan. Yeah, as long as you're able to pick it up, it doesn't matter.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Then. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.